I'm going to wait for the counter to come on. All right, there it is. I need Rocco to verify. All right. I hope everyone had a good weekend. YouTube is very, very buggy. The timer keeps on restarting. We'll just go with it. I hope everyone had a good weekend. I had a good one. My nephew's bar mitzvah was Saturday, and then I went to my high school's 20th reunion get together. So made me feel old but alive, and that's what's going on with this market rally. It is old but very much alive. New all-time highs again to Dizzle. Let me put up the screen. They're just buying the NASDAQ, guys. They're just buying the Qs. Consumer discretionary was ripping. Thanks a lot to Tesla's big up 5% day. Let's put up the screen and see what exactly triggered today. So SPY jumps to new all-time highs led by consumer discretionary ETF. That's XLY, which is very heavily Amazon and Tesla, but Tesla was one of those at 5%. I think Amazon didn't do a ton. And Qs, the Qs was pretty much, they were just big buy program pretty much for the most of the day to buy growth, specifically the Qs, up 1.2%, while bonds sold off. They were down a lot more in the beginning of the day, then they rallied some. But yeah, rates were and yields were up pretty much throughout the day. We'll take a look at all the charts. But yeah, XLY was up 1.8, Qs up 1.2 to new all-time highs, bonds down 1%. And then we'll look at some of the best trades of the week right now for the past 5 days, carrying obviously from past week, is long tech and semiconductors, never short of superstar. This thing's still crushing it from the past 2 years, still looks good. The second best trade of the week is short European financials, still under pressure, although they did have a nice bounce today. And then short Brazil, the third best trade. So let's take a look at all the charts really fast. Here is the S&P. Well, that's just me scratching my ear. I'm tired, man. Did a lot this weekend. Father's Day stuff. It's pretty exhausting. But yeah, finals tonight. Celtics probably close it out, unfortunately. Last basketball game for 4.5 months, I presume. All right, so here is SPY ran to its highs at 2 o'clock, 548.42, and then a little bit of a sell-off here in the 3:30 hour, but still holding view off throughout the day, which was 546. So a nice, impressive day. We're talking about Tesla at 5.3. There that is. So pretty impressive. Overall, what I was saying here is do a lot of work with, time frames and such. So my bullishness regime I had for an end on or around June 18th. That happens to be tomorrow, with a target of around the 540 upgraded to 545 level. We closed at 547. So pretty much right in line. The next move is I'm pretty much expecting a mean reversion, small cascade lower to about 532. So if I zoom out here, just to about where you see the bunching of these lines here, and essentially where you were June 5th or 12 days ago. So pretty much all I'd say. And then as this zoom continues higher to 600 by end of the year. We were talking about last week, I think it was, Qs were making all-time highs and SMH. It was only a specific part of the market. And whenever you see that, the S&P and larger market is definitely susceptible to it being dragged up with it. And that's exactly what happened today. The morning was, so-so. It was more of a tech day. And then SPY obviously joined the party. It's very heavy, Microsoft, Apple, and NVIDIA. So that's my call for SPY. So enjoy the ride. That looks to continue. Let's take a look at stuff relevant to today, stuff that had a multiple sigma move. So the consumer discretionary, like I said, if Tesla is alive in this, that'd be pretty interesting. Oh, one last thing. Is VXX something we're going to look at, the chart? I'll just do this really fast. We've been calling out, trying to see when this up move would end in a way. It would be nice to see a specific VXX level. I had wanted to see it much lower than here, so it just looks really I was calling for about 1040, and we're closing around 1120. So we'll see. I'll zoom in on the 6-month. So we bottomed over here, 1080. So I'd like to go a little bit close to that, and that was June 12th. So which was Wednesday. So we'll see. But this looks like we could have more upside potentially, especially when we see the thrust that you had today out of the Qs. But we'll see. So that was, let me do the XLY chart. XLY. All right, so this is up a multiple standard deviation. They really loved this today, up 1.7%, right to the upper band. Now what looks essentially range bound since it put in its highs on March 1st, right here around 185. And then you got that protection around that right down there, 168. which it did pierce in April. This thing looks pretty magnetized. Looks a little bit heavy to there's resistance here. I'm sorry, I'm looking at two charts. I don't like silence in the thing, but it looks very tight around 182. I have on another chart as well. You had a little bit of a break there in March when it was able to do it to those highs, and then it faded. So if Tesla can participate and this can continue, since it does have some forward momentum, the 200-day moving average, though it is kind of rolling over, I just don't expect huge things. And I think this will probably be, in the cascade that we're calling for a little bit of consolidation in the broader market. I think this would be susceptible first to a bit of a mean reversion down to 177 or 4 points, essentially giving back today's gain. So that's why I see 4 from here, but today they're definitely buying it. Let's take a look at the Qs. So broader growth, essentially. So my target for this is about 473. It is way, I don't want to say nosebleeds, but it is overbought, yet it's been. We entered overbought right here on June 11th, 6 days ago, and ramping higher. So as you can see here, blue skies up ahead. There's, no resistance. Next, you have to do, different kind of calculations, Fibonacci retracement, or, percentages plus moving averages. My 473 target was based on a Bollinger Band and on a couple of different time frames. 475, I would see. So the semis, obviously, and tech XLK have had a huge run, which is going to power this higher. But I don't expect, this is very realistic for this to go to 475 even tomorrow, which would be, 2% sell off. So, but this is a lot of whipped cream off the top, if you will. This is really extended, overbought as you see. All right, so they bought them. All that being said, they bought them. So this is definitely where the momentum is. Let's look at TLT. They sold it aggressively here today, down 1%. Not super aggressive. That's quite a move for rates. I think it put in its short-term cycle top at 94. This here on the 14th, which was Friday. I just see monster resistance there. I don't think it's going to take that out. I think it's going to stay heavy here, but then it's going to channel around here. I think it's going to bounce. So I think next move between that 90, 92, which is going to provide that little bit of I don't want to say scare, but that kind of thought process for markets to go essentially lower by 2% or so while rates shoot higher. But then it potentially started today. All right, so that was it, really. So up moves today. It was the XLY and Qs to new all-time highs, and on the sell side, they sold TLT. All right, best 5 gainers over the past 5 days. No repeats. XLK, obviously, it's going to be very similar to the charts we just saw. Very, very similar due to the makeup of it. This is super extended. I just see it like 224 target, so don't be shocked if you get give back. I would say to the tune of, what do we just say, 224, so $6-7, so maybe 3%. Might feel bloody, but we are pretty overbought, and then I think buyers will step in at those levels. So, pretty natural, but this could mean revert, and, this happens in tech sometimes, and it happens. This could go all the way down to 216, which is a $14, down move. What would that be? 6%, something like that. So it might feel bad, but this is super extended, this tech area, especially with Apple's participation. All right, SMH, again, I tried to make it a little bit different, but this is where the action has been in the last 5 days. So tech up 7% in the past week. SMH actually less than that. So Apple, again, really helping. This is extended. SMH probably around 261, I would say, for a target. So that's 11 points above. So you get the picture, but these are all, kind of the same chart. EWT, there's something that's different. So Taiwan is the third best long in the past week, up 4%. So, if you had the Taiwan semi on your bingo card, because you have tech, semiconductor, and Taiwan, probably a massive provider and a contributor to this move. Yep, similar to the other ones. This might have a little bit more I think this wants to hang out around 53 some more, 52-week high today. So I will note that for EWT. Yep, blue skies ahead, but I think it's going to stay right around here for a while. Potentially start to move lower towards 51 before another leg higher. But this looks good, 52-week high for Taiwan. Let's look at oil, the fourth best long in the past week, up 3%. It's interesting as you look at charts and then more and more come together. It's you say a lot of things are at target. Things have to come in. They have momentum, so go a little bit higher, but not much more. And then it starts to go lower. That's essentially what happens. This is pretty much the same chart. USO maybe wants to get to 79 on the last gasp there to test this marker, this upper volatility band, but it doesn't, I don't think necessarily has to, and before making a little bit of a move lower to 75. I think it wants to hang out here again. So not, kind of a nothing burger there. TLT, we already looked at the chart. That is the fifth best long in the market, up 3% over the past 5 days. Let's look at the top 5 losers of the past 5 days. EUFN, or European financials, have come under the knife, down 6% over the past 5 days, but today a nice rally, up 1.7%. Trying to mean revert here to at least its normal, bounds here. Let me say on another chart. Yeah, this I think should be bouncing towards around 23. Let's be more specific because this is a cheap stock, on $25, so almost a cents count for the move. Like 22.75. So this has got a little bit more to do. This could almost, if there's real exuberance in markets or something maybe happens in European politics, etc. I don't know. This could get to 20. I think just 23.30. That would be really a lot of. I know it's only a couple sessions ago, but that would be as good as it gets. I would say for the short term for European financials. Just really a hard time, but trying to make inroads of it today. Brazil not doing so good, down again today, 1.06% or so to a new 52-week low. So not all nations are created equal. You see the U.S. killing it, new all-time highs. Taiwan 52-week high. European financials not doing so great, and Brazil a 52-week low. They had a big piece in the journal talking about how the flood has really messed up Brazil and their prospects. Here's the bar, not looking too good. In terms of mean reverting and looking at all different kinds of levels, this should be trading around 28.30 at the lower side. But that's just arithmetic, and sentiment obviously can mean a lot of different things. And here's that 28.30 level I'm talking about right here. It hasn't spent the past week there. So the fact that the market does not have to do anything that logical arithmetic wants it to do. But so 5 days, and that explains this as well. This oversold. Pretty difficult that you get oversold for an entire nation ETF, and it continues to go lower. But that's what's happening. Let's look at nat gas, the third biggest loser in the market over the last week. Let's see if this is a put spread candidate. If you need some shorts, this looks good. Unfortunately, let me zoom in because it's such a piece of crapola. What a pretty tag of the 200-day moving average. Got to Kembade and sent all the way down. What now? So this was the textbook, just easy thing you should have done. I did not do it because, I think that was actually my birthday, and I'm not as perfectly an astute trader. But, that would be a perfect tag. I was actually looking for that, but, again, it was out on the beach for my birthday. Right there, the 13th. So, actually, it was the day before, so I'm going to out myself and say, dang, you missed it. But what's next? If things get really – I don't love that. It looks like the worst days are behind it mid-April because the lower target I would have said is 16 for the next move. But today was a big down move, down 3.5%. I think it wants to hang around here. It's 21 EMA, literally right around 19.15. Ugliest maybe gets to 16.5. That's a really tough trade. I would have to take a couple weeks to unfold. All right. CopX, this used to be in big focus, the copper miners. This is the fourth biggest losing trade in the market in the past week, down 5% or 1% per day. Pretty much did that average day, down 0.8. Let me see what happens now. Yeah, this looks like, I don't know, they had great momentum just recently to May 20th. This looks ugly with the lower highs here. I don't love that. You still have a rising 200-day moving average. You've not been really with, convincing, authority above the 14-day 50 RSI since those highs, and it's immediately crapped out. I think this wants to hang around 44 here and maybe squeezes to 46, which would be a nice move, but really I'm not sure worth the risk. Looks like it wants to head there to 46, but I don't know if it gets better than that. This looks heavy, and then wants to hang around that 44 to 46 range, but we'll see. And then lastly, Mexico, the fifth worst trade of the market. Did it have a good day or bad day today? Not as bad as it was, but down 1/3% today. Now what for Mexico? Some countries, there's been really some geo ETF trading due to all the catalysts and politics, weather, etc. This looks like it wants to go to 58. I still think you can capture a bounce in this, but here's a problem. You should have been able to do that for past week, and it's still not there. Again, oversold. Very similar to the conditions in Brazil, although the official or the actual 52-week low for Mexico was last October, still not taken out. So this momentum still continues. It could go lower. Who knows? Doesn't look super great. The volume seems like it's capitulated on June 3rd, the day after the election. The volume has been going pretty much lower after this. The last 3 days have really been much more quieter trading. So, okay, so long best 3 absolute trades of the week. Best tech, semiconductor, that area has been crushing it. Second best area, short European financials if you're in that trade. And third best, short Brazil. Okay, and lastly, yes, Wednesday is closed stock market holiday for Juneteenth. So, yeah. All right, peace.